Hi, so I'm making a small video to explain a little bit more about the sound system. So I get a lot of inquiries and questions from mostly some of my friends asking about what's the difference between a 100 ringgit speaker versus maybe a $10,000 speaker and things like that. So basically in this video I will just have a quick summary as a run through why some speakers are so cheap, why some are so expensive. So let's begin. If you have if you buy a speaker that's pretty cheap, less than 100 ringgit, basically they just give out sound. It's not going to impress you. The bass is lacking. When you crank up the volume around middle to high, you start to have a lot of distortion, noise, and as well as you don't get the full dynamic frequency range that you're looking for. So those are at the budget line. When you pump up your budget a little bit more, just say around 100 to 350 or maybe around 500. So at this range, you can find a lot of PC speakers. Okay, these are generally custom designed for gaming, where they have probably hardwired two speakers with a subwoofer um, to give out a better sound listening experience. But the thing about it is the sound quality really varies. Sometimes you get the bass that is strong, but you don't get the bass that is controllable, like boomy, or like the attacking bass is not tight enough. And sometimes the mid-range is not so clear, and then they purposely just boost up the high frequency to make it sound clearer, but actually it doesn't really make it sound clearer. So it depends. So some of the good brands that I myself have tried is like Edifier. I really love their speakers. I tried more than 20 of the speakers, and they're really good. Logitech brings really good speakers in the market as well, PC speakers. But it varies from their lineup to lineup, so you better like listen to know. So those are the range of 100 to 500 if you're looking for those type. Easy, just have a 3.5 mm hip jack and can plug into your PC, and you're good to go. What do you get if you get more than that? Maybe from 500 to 1,000. You get a better build quality. Maybe the speakers are not made of plastic but made of wood. Something you need to understand about speaker enclosure material is that speaker is cheap, is lightweighted, okay? It brings the construction in place. But the thing is, it is so flimsy that it does a lot of sound travel inside. It gives a lot of unwanted noise, or the pressure coming out from the speaker is not so good. That's why really good speakers, they are probably like like made of wood, things like that, to reduce the resonance. But 500 to 1,000 ringgit speaker, you basically can get something that is cleaner sound at higher volume. um, Probably the mid-range is gonna be much clearer compared to those that's lesser than 500. What can you get around 1,000 ringgit to 2,000? So from 1,000 to 2,000, you can look into like Logitech Z906, or like Boston Acoustics, or Soundware 5.1, things like that. They are home theater in a box type. Okay, they call it HTIB, home theater in a box. Basically, you get all the 5 speakers together with a subwoofer. So the subwoofer is an active built-in amp. So all the speakers are connected into that woofer, and it will into a subwoofer, and it will drive the system up. Um, it's simple to set up. It's not too expensive. It works well in a small room. Okay, if you have a small room that is probably like 3 meter by 3 meter, or sometimes even 4 by 4, or somewhere around there, then it's fine. Um, but those type of speaker usually come in smaller form factors. Probably a 3-inch diameter woofer or something like that, um, or like a cube size. So you can look into that if you are looking into entry home theaters. That is also the price range of good sound bars, coming into the plate, 500 to 1,000 ringgit. But some bars, they are used, they're just loud. To me, they're just loud, you know. Designers put in a lot of algorithms into it, making them sound more crispy, to make it sound more Dolby Live, you know. They're all algorithms, all software embedded into it, okay? Just to upgrade your TV sound. So if you're looking for a soundbar, yeah, somewhere around 500 to a K to 1,000, you can find something decent. Then, oh, I think I may have, sorry about that, I may have covered the 500 to 1,000 just now, sorry. Yeah, so soundbar falls into that category. What happens if it goes more than 2K? Now that is the part where things get interesting. When you get something that is more than 2,000, you can look into bookshelf speakers. You can look into floor standing speakers. Sometimes we call them as tall boys. You can also look into a better amplifier. That is entry level to hi-fi. Okay, what is hi-fi? You always hear about people talking about hi-fi. Hi-fi stands for high fidelity. A lot of resolution put into play when you look into a hi-fi system. So some really pretty good brands out there that I personally use them myself is like Rogers, Wolfdales, Elec, Darley, yeah, those that is made in the UK, made in Denmark, you know, this kind of bookshelf speakers. There's a lot out there. Look into it. And good thing about bookshelf speaker is that they are full range. So when you play something of full range, that means from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's where your ear is audible at. They give a pretty much very good stereo image. So you have to distinguish what type of sound path you want to move into. Whether you want to move into sound of home theater, or whether you want to move it into stereo listening. Two different parts. Home theater uses more like an AV receiver. Music listening uses like power amplifiers. So above 2,000, too much to talk to. I will probably leave it up to the next video. But this is just a general guideline. After 2,000 ringgit, then you can get bookshelf speakers like the one I'm having here, BMWs. A really good or a really good power amp, you know, because you cannot really get 2,000 and you want to fit everything into it. Just gonna be back to mediocre. That I would say is like stage 1 of hi-fi listening. Stage 2 comes in. I would recommend don't just throw away all of your speaker system and upgrade into a next expensive one. Be careful. It doesn't mean the more expensive it is, the better it is. Okay, I've listened to really expensive speakers, but it's not good. You know, it's not good. Maybe it's good for one genre, but it's not good for majority of the genre. What I would recommend to you is have a good acoustic treatment in your room. So things like that, you know, acoustic foams. Sound in a room happens in three different ways. It can absorb, it can reflect, or it can diffuse in all type of direction. So having a room, you know, there's a lot of maths into it. When you study, it's like that standing wave interference, and certain part of your room is gonna sound more boomy. Certain part of the room is gonna sound more less sharp. I mean less loud and things like that. Notes and anti-notes and all. So have your room properly acoustically treated. Okay. Simple using of like bass traps, well, it is good. Depend on your geometry, where you put your speakers, and it's a whole lot of a different topic. But you need to spend money on that. Okay. I can have $1 million speaker and I put in a football field. It's not gonna sound good. Okay. I can have like maybe $500 bookshelf speakers and I put them in a very well acoustically treated room. It's gonna sound really good. Okay. I've listened to mediocre speakers that is placed into like a $700 sound room. It sounds fantastic. Yeah. So have your room acoustically treated first. Then you can move up to the next stage. Okay. Then it's gonna be more expensive. The speaker comes in to be more well built. Okay. The speaker cone itself, manufacturing could be even more expensive than your than maybe your latest iPhone or things like that. Yeah. So it's really boils down to the materials to use, the how big is the speaker construction and all. So also a good way to take note about it is that speaker doesn't mean that the bigger it is, it's gonna be very loud. You know, some people that really huge speaker and then you'd be like, oh, this is crazy. I would never use such a big speaker. No. Or like I wouldn't, yeah, or it would make me deaf. No, it's not true. Imagine I have a small speaker unit, okay, and I want to drive it at a certain volume, okay, like not to say it's really loud, but it's loud enough. It's like a small boy screaming to get that volume. Her sound quality is not going to be that good. But if I have a bigger woofer unit to reach that value, it's gonna be effortless. So, like when you go into cinema, at the beginning stage when they have all this commercial everything, you don't feel it's loud. You know that you can hear it. The sound quality is good, but you don't complain that it's loud. So big speaker is actually good in that way because it pushes more air to your ears, so that gives that sound that you're looking for. So yeah, so more expensive speaker comes down to the material, to the cost of building it, um, and type of how flat the frequency can come out to from the speaker. Then everything, every little thing, good thing, the thing about sound system to make them sound good is that every little tiny details. Okay, speaker, how much do they vibrate when you put them on the stand? Okay, it's like I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, and then you put me into those kind of massage thing where you sit and when you stand on it and then it will kind of like vibrate your feet and I'll talk something like that. It's something similar to that concept. You put a speaker into something that will make it vibrate. It's not solid enough. No matter how good the pressure of the sound is coming out, a lot of energy is going to be lost everywhere. And sound's not going to be good. So the first thing, this kind of little tiny stuff, reducing all the resonance of the speaker, having good speaker stand, heavy types, using spikes, using cones, using good rubber insulation like Vibrapods and all, they all play a huge difference. So I want to wrap up this video. I know, sorry, it's getting a bit long. So what is good and bad sound system? Okay, in beginning when things are cheap, you just hear sound. Okay, it's like 2D. Okay, you just see the color and just 2D, just the sound is there. When you go up at a certain level of sound listening, things become more real. Okay, you don't just hear bass, you don't just hear clear vocal, you don't just hear crispy clear, crystal clear high sound. We talk differently. We say things like, how big is the sound stage? When you're listening to a concert, will you be able to identify where the speakers are? Sorry, where the instruments are. And then we talk about sound depth. When you know where to identify the instruments, are you able to feel the depth of the vocal, size of it, whether the energy is this big or the energy is so small? And also the kind of 3D-ish kind of sound, like we call it like a spatial sound effects. We always talk about wide sound. How do you make a sound wider in a smaller confined space? And we're not talking about using software algorithm to mimic the size of the room, but instead it's capturing every detail coming out from the recording and then going through a very good pure DAC amplifier or power amp or even a preamp goes up to your speakers and it's gonna project it out really nice and wide. Then when you go into really expensive speakers, I think it's just talking more about the size, the cost of the R&D that is poured into it, because they make those speaker units, and probably like out of 10-20 samples that they build, probably only one make it into the way. And you should also factor in all the production costs. Some is like really difficult to make, and then all this R&D costing everything is gonna make the speaker really high. And an expensive speaker, as you may know, it's not like everyone has the budget or even want to buy it. That's why the costing is high. So sound is really up to you. So what I can say is that if you found a sound system that you feel is good, it belongs to you. Don't let a lot of people or reviews confuse your mind that, oh, this is better, this is not good. It's your preference. It's your preference. But of course, be careful. I have reached a certain level that I think that is really good, but once I listen to something even better, there is a comparison, then it's not gonna sound as good as before. So in order to wrap up is, yeah, sound is yours. There is always good sound and bad sound everywhere, in every range of the speakers. It all depends on what fit your budget the most, and what you're really looking for. So yeah, drop a comment below, or you can ask me any questions. If I can answer it, no problem, I'll definitely answer it. Thank you.